from last game, taking that one away from Zig.
So here's the change-up. Obviously, UCONN this time are going to be over on the red side. They will get the counter pick for one of the lanes. So taking away the Hecarim from Zig. Will they ban the Aurelia? I feel like that has to be the last ban here as we head towards our first pick of the game. Otherwise, RMU just going to take that for Zig.
Yeah, so the final ban from RMU was the ban against Mr. F with the Cho'Gath. It was just annoying for them enough to take that one away from them.
Yeah.
And just like, you don't even get your Cho'Gath. Urgot was the last ban from UCONN, and the instant lock-in of Swajani as the other big top-tier jungler. Gragas is still open though.
Okay, so at this point, you're basically saying, UCONN, we're going to take Aurelia, or we're going to counter-pick top on UCONN's side of things. I like RMU. They're not getting baited into just taking Aurelia first pick. They're picking the far stronger, far better overall pick of the Sejuani here. You've got the engage, you've got the team fight presence, you've got the strength out of the jungle as well. So RMU certainly sticking to their game plan, even though the tasty morsel of Aurelia left open, not enough to bite.
Indeed, and I really just want UCONN to go with just run at you, kill you early, like take it to them in the early game and the mid game, because if they try to play RMU at the same game, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. We saw it last time. Look at those lock-ins. Maokai and Lucian out from UCONN, insta-lock of Fresh and Kalista from RMU. That was banned last game. Yeah,
RMU have just done that again. Now they picked up 2 picks, as you said, that were banned in the previous game. Aurelia later on would make a 3rd. They take the Thresh away from T Dollars, so he's not going to be able to try and make bank on that, but didn't really get too much in the way of hooks. They didn't get a kill in the last game, so playing catch wouldn't have done it, and it's been locked in.
Bird has been locked in. Oh my god, fantastic.
Okay, so this is the first game we will have casted on Bard. He has been played in other regions. China have played him a couple of times. If there's a champion that you're looking to run at people, it's great if the people you're running to can't get away. So you throw down that ultimate, close the distance, fight on top of them.
Yeah, and they can get on top of them very, very easily. The Bard with a magical journey, and they just pile on. With the Maokai, with the Vi, Lucian will be able to get in close quarters as well. Let's see what the last pick is from UCONN. Probably something tanky, and probably something that wants to be up in the face of RMU. But if there's any time to take something new out, it's going to be here. Probably not the Gangplank, but Na and Orianna will be the final 2 pickups from RMU.
Yeah, I like this. Tails picking up for Zig here, getting that Na, is basically saying we'll go for team fight presence. No need to pick up an Aurelia. Difficult to kill. Anybody when a Maokai's around, Aurelia can kind of get pushed away in those fights. So I like this adjustment. Orianna worked well for Leo last game. Why change it up? Gives them extra scaling, gives them good team fight. That's one heck of a wombo combo. If you look at a Sejuani ultimate into Na and Orianna, that's a very dangerous one. Take Kalista as well.
I mean, no one's ever going to be able to touch her with that front line, with that initial combo. They have to survive that and then get on Kalista, who's going to be so slippery. They have another 13 seconds for UCONN to lock in their final pick, which will round out their composition to keep them in the tournament here at the NACC, and it will be Ziggs. Not Zig, but Ziggs from UCONN. Last time I saw this was from Power of Evil, and it didn't work out well. So
again, it's a champion that's going to kind of farm very well in that middle lane. You're not going to get the kill pressure onto Orianna, so it's going to give them the opportunity to blow somebody up from afar. You look at the Bard ultimate. If you time it right with the Ziggs ultimate, you can get a pretty easy kill. However, if you time it wrong and you layer them, that's not a good opportunity. So interesting to see UCONN going for a fairly knife edge kind of composition. They have to catch people. They have to use these ultimates well to win.
Yeah, this is definitely risky, even riskier than before when I saw you eating your food over your dress shirt. I was like, that's risky, but this is even riskier stress.
What happens backstage stays backstage, Pulse.
No, it doesn't. It goes alive.
Well,
but,
you know...
yeah, UCONN. This is definitely more of what I wanted to see from them.
It is, but you know, we're having a great time here in Santa Monica at the Barca Hangar here for the NACC finals. And you know, it's not only just here, across the country as well. Everybody's having a lot of fun. I've seen tweets from people in Utah that are supporting UCONN as well. Lots of fans across America for it. Northeastern University over in Boston as well. They're cheering on UCONN, so they need to get it done here for UCONN. Need to get it done for their region. They've got to try and make this a 1-1 scoreline and try and get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, well, they're backed up against the wall, but they have nothing to lose, and nothing is scarier than UCONN with nothing to lose. And let's get into this game stretch and see how this one works out. It will be game 2 of this best-of-3 in the second semi-finals to determine who will make the finals of NACC between RMU and UCONN. Let's get into this one.
So, Bard is on the Rift. Is this?
Look at him in all his glory.
Yeah. Now I've got a question for you.
What is that?
T-Dollars, aka T-Money.
Yeah.
A Chimes Money. Is he now T-Dollars, aka
are they currency?
T-Money, aka T-Chimes for this game?
But in what universe would those be, you know, methods of currency?
Who knows? You just go on a magical journey and you find out what all the currency is. Well, I'm on a magical journey. Now we're using dollars. I'm used to using euros. It's a bit of a weird change, but
it is.
Nevertheless.
Hey, look, it's a chime.
Speaking of changes, at this point, this is very different from what UCONN did in the last game. They didn't go this deep into the jungle. The same RMU didn't really do this. They kind of went for a more blind lane swap. So this time, the gloves are off. We've got the between the turret wards down, and the teams are scouting them out.
Yeah, Toys as well will be the member exiting from the jungle. Has been seen out by that ward that will be now trying to disrupt him as he goes back.
Oh, Boomerang.
Boomerang
got him.
Stop him, but still they have no vision of what's happening in their own jungle, and the rest of the UCONN is still staying there, and most likely they could go for a lane swap here.
They could. I'm interested to see how Bard works in a lane swap because, so we're on 5.7.
We are.
So we've had the additional damage added to Bard. We've had the couple of changes, a little bit of cooldown adjustment on some of his abilities. So at this point, Bard is not as weak as he was on 5.6. A lot of supports over in Europe are still saying you have to lane swap him to get him through a tough laning phase. Interestingly enough, though, T-Dollars has actually taken Ignite here for extra pressure on top of that. So it's going to make kill pressure in that 2 versus 1 lane even more crucial here for UCONN. So if Zig's not careful, he could get bursted down pretty quickly by this Lucian and Bard.
Well, let's see if it works out. He will have the hop, of course, to get out of danger, but he will be zoned away. That's a lot of damage early game, especially those meeps flying towards you. There's a lot of damage, and he's got the Spell Thief's Edge, so that'll proc twice, getting all the value from those auto attacks.
And this is one of the very weird things about a Bard lane is your minions betray you when playing Bard. You cannot sit by minions because one Q, a Cosmic Binding, if it hits both of you, you're stuck in place. Those meep auto attacks as well, they're just going to deal extra damage. So expect T-Dollars to buy the lane presence here for Enchantress Clara and then roam around, pick up the rest of his charms around the map and get himself further and further towards that level 6.
Yeah, it's like, what am I playing against here? Misfortune? Do I have to worry about the double up? But yeah, it is Jasmine now on the Vi, going into his own jungle to pick up that red buff. Now Oberon will be taking his own blue buff as well, so we'll be trying to put him behind. And T-Dollars still pushing away Ziggs. 3 CS to 7. We'll see how the rest of this lane swap works out. This is a very crucial part of the game for both teams.
So the difference in this game and the last game you look at Zig, he actually went around the map. In fact, no, I tell a lie. Zig was on Hecarim last time. So it was Toys that went around the map very early on, making plays around with the jungler Jasmine. This time Zig has just gone up and sat in the top side. He's going to just receive a lot of these minions under the tower. There's not a lot that UCONN can do to force him away now that he's safely under tower. So Zig's going to get a fair amount of experience here. Now with Mini Bestia here, they can actually turn the pressure back towards UCONN. Now you have that catch potential in the lane.
Yeah. Still, the damage output will be fairly low, and if they line up, then Cosmic Binding, and that will stop both of them. Toys in the bottom lane, still farming up. That's the sapling down there as well. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Leo and Mr. F, this time in another farming matchup with Orianna and Ziggs.
Yeah, there's not a lot going to happen in this mid lane for a while. That's
well, there is right
sure.
now.
Well, just a bit of laughing. I mean, Ziggs is even with us here in the Barca hangar, so
yeah.
This is going to be a blast. But Zig right now has Mini Bestia alongside him up in this top lane. And I'm really interested to see what T-Dollars is going to look to build. Actually, hold that thought. Mr. F is pushed fairly deep in the mid lane.
Oberon's there. He lands the Arctic Assault and forces the flash out. Leo will follow with the auto attacks, and the dissonance is enough to burn that summoner. So, pretty good gank in the early game. We saw that last game as well. He burnt that mid laner summoner.
Yeah, and currently no wards out from Mr. F in that mid lane. No real, between Jasmine and Mr. F. They haven't decided who's warding where. It's still a tad early on that, with Jasmine having gone back to buy and not being able to afford a ward. So it's a fairly straightforward gank for Oberon, and now he's looking for a second gank path because they've just read that T-Dollars has left the lane. They will see him come back, but Oberon already has a position on him. T-Dollars this early on is fairly weak.
Oh, good luck. He flashes towards
the
E, but he can't get through the magical journey. Ziggs actually misclicks though and goes all the way through the wall. T-Dollars, he goes as well. Will be trying to get away. Oberon comes up with a permafrost. Will be flashing away, and T-Dollars makes it out alive.
The magical journey play. I liked it from Zig though. It was, I'm following to cut you off.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, he can't get through it. It's going to time out. No, through goes T-Dollars. And man, magical journey.
I do wonder if it was a misclick though, because there's a play you can just walk into a bush, and because they're clicking on you, you click on the magical journey instead. It's like, oh, well, I'm gone.
I feel like it was intentional, just from like, okay, if you actually do get there, I'm going to put myself in your way. Flash gank in the bottom lane.
Yep.
Ooh.
Right onto Tails, does not quite land. Burns the flash summoner from Tails, however, so he'll have to be a little more defensive in the bot lane, one-on-one against Toys. So still exerting that pressure. Both junglers have done a pretty good job in the early game.
They have. I would like to see more wards from Jasmine and Mr. F in that mid lane, but Mr. F hasn't gone back yet. He hasn't been able to shop. Jasmine this time is going to go back again. We'll see what he looks to pick up here. But Leo's having a fairly easy time in this mid lane. He is just sat there farming away. Flash being down on Mr. F is a big cooldown that releases a lot of that lane pressure that Ziggs can exert at times, but Mini Bestie has been spotted back on the bottom side of the map. This is going to signal that RMU are looking for a dragon sometime soon. Yeah,
not a lot that Toys by himself can do about it. Jasmine is still on the top side as well, and even knowing that there's 3 members in the bottom lane, does not decide to go down there, so he might try and make something happen up against Zig in the top lane, maybe go for a fast push, but what's for sure is this dragon is going to go over to the Robert Morris University. And this dragon will be going down with the Ren stacks as well. No way it's going to get stolen away. There we go. And now going back into the bottom lane, still farming up. Jasmine still farming through his jungle. So UCONN were not very interested in contesting his early dragons, despite going for a composition that really just tries to get ahead.
So UCONN at this point, they don't have the ultimates that they need to actually take a fight. Vi is still level 5, so is Bard, so is Lucian. They were still on the top side of the map as well. So UCONN rightfully saying, okay, you take the first dragon, but be prepared for a fight over the second. And that's going to be the key point here for UCONN, is when they get their ultimates, can they actually take this fight? Can they line the ultimates up is the real question, because Bard is the first champion really, well, maybe the second if you include Kalista, where you can really seriously negatively affect your teammates if you misclick. Kalista, at least you get to control when you're coming out. Yeah. But speaking of, Kalista will take the lantern back.
Well, the original one was a Nivea where you just wall off your teammates.
True. But this one you really have no choice. You kind of just got to sit there until the ult expires.
Force Sonya's, yeah.
Well, I really hope they haven't got a bunch of ults to kill me when we come out of this. But,
however, if it's used perfectly, this big wombo combo from RMU, oh, you want to use it? I'm going to Zonya's my own team, and all of that's going to go right over us.
And this is one of the big things coming into this game that we were looking at from UCONN, is what can they do that will throw RMU off their heavily structured game plans? How much of RMU played against Bard? How used to they getting picked off halfway across the map by a Bard ultimate that just hits you and the rest of the team follows up? That's a big question. You have to feel like RMU have had enough time to play against this, so they should be somewhat prepared. If Bard comes up, every single team in the LCS has discussed Bard to the point where if somebody picks it, what do we do? So I'm not too worried if I was on RMU, but UCONN still maybe have caught them with something a little bit different.
Well, we were talking before how we're gonna hold off on that, because there's the shockwave. He follows up, and that's going to be first blood going over to Leo with just a well-coordinated gank, basically doing it himself as Toys. All he wanted to do was ward, but he found an Orianna.
Toys followed the breadcrumb line into the top bush, and inside
and the wicked witch of Orianna killed him.
That's, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's how that went. The
fairy tale of Runeterra.
I'd read that. I'd read that
to my children.
But Toys certainly didn't read the play out of Leo. It was a really easy kill for Leo. You don't get many kills like that with just roaming up. Just like, oh, top laner just walked into my shockwave. Sweet, I'll go back mid.
So both junglers are now in the bottom lane. Jasmine sitting in that bush, looking looking
Teleport
for
coming out.
follow-up. There's the ultimate. It does not land. And now onto Tails. Oh, they catch him. Wow, he's going for the lantern in mid-air. Fantastic mechanical play from Jasmine.
No dragon up right now, though, so UCONN have to do something with this. Bot tower would be the one to go for. Zig's trying to take top as well at the same time. UCONN have kind of just split up. They don't have anything to take, very similar to the first game where they had the map pressure for just a minute, but couldn't really do too much with it.
Yeah, and now the top tower will be going down to Zig in that top lane over to the NACC. That will be the first tower of the game. How much can UCONN do in the bottom lane now? Because the minion wave is slowly dying. I don't think they can kill the tower quite yet. But in the mid lane, 87 farms 88, completely dead, even top lane, slight advantage over to RMU. In the bottom lane is the reverse toys, making sure that Ziggs can't just go back to base super easily. And Oberon seeing that pink ward, just going to be taking that one away. Everyone going through the motions right now, Stress, but let's turn our attention to the items, because everyone has gone back to base and started those one off. Bottom lane, both sitting on the BF swords. Mid lane with the Chalice and the Phoenix Codex over to Leo. In the jungle, Janman actually going for an earlier game build with the Warrior enchant on top of his Trailblazer.
Yeah, so looking for the catch potential, get a lot of damage down early on, make sure you can pick up the kills. This game is very similar to the last one in the sense that this is even for now. This is more even than the last one. The last one was slightly more different, and CS top lane, there's a big fight between two gargantuan champions.
It's going to take a while, but Jasmine and Leo will be speeding up a little bit. I have to feel Leo coming in as the shockwave lands, and looks at the order, but I can get him as he comes in with the advance. Now Jasmine as well has to back away as Oberon is there, goes for the tower dive, does not land the last boomerang. All of it in from mid lane though. It is Ziggs now coming in to pick up the kill. Mr. F coming from downtown. And
Leo still wants
him off. This is a 1-on-2. Gets him with the ultimate, locks him down. Will be jumping away with the satchel charge. Now turning away. There's still a minefield that he has to walk through, and he's completely caught off. Fantastic setup from Mr. F, and that'll bring him to 3-2 with the advantage to UCONN.
Bristles is not very light-footed, so
no, you're gonna
no way you're passing
one of those.
that Hextech minefield. But a nice follow-up there from Mr. F, getting the ultimate up into the top side. Toys went for the kill and just barely missed it in that engage as he ended up falling, and Toys is having a little trouble settling himself. Hook doesn't quite land.
No, but Clara still taking a lot of damage. There's the ultimate coming down to keep Mizzy Bestia in place. The ultimate as well from Tails to lock them down. Jasmine coming in for the gank, looking to chase him down. Does he have the auto attack? Yes, he does from the excessive force. Now Mizzy Bestia looking to get away from this, but now he just has to sit in the bush. Goes for the hook onto T-Dollars, but T-Dollars is out of there, and the double kill for Jasmine.
Oh, hold on to something, because there's no safety in that wall when a Cosmic Binding's around. Didn't even need it for that one, though, as Jasmine makes his presence felt in the bottom side, and with Dragon just about to